G'day everybody, Merry Christmas, and I want to talk about how two wrongs can make a right and how two wrongs don't make a right. Everything's a balance, so I have to say it like that because it's true. But there's a better way than another way. Depends on how you like to look at the balance and which way you're heading in that balance, the negative way or the positive way. When it comes to two wrongs make it right, that's when if someone keeps punching you in the face and you tried everything possible not them to punch you in the face, that they won't stop, they just don't understand it, and they don't even maybe know what punched in the face is. So in the end, you punch them in the fucking face back. And hopefully that works, right? And a lot of times it can, but then a lot of times it doesn't because the other person wants to fight back and then starts fighting, and then they might not see the point until afterwards. One of them will win about the point. He might kick your ass and go, "Say you shouldn't have done that, mate. Look, I'm tougher." And then you get the point, and you need to make another step, and so on. But most of the time, two wrongs do not make a right, right? And I want to talk about when it comes to Gaza now, but the two wrongs do not make a right. Gaza decided to try to use the two wrongs make a right. Means if they've attacked us for a little while slowly, so their holy way is we won't do nothing, we won't do nothing, we won't do nothing while they're attacking us little bits, and then the last little one, because I've seen people have fights over this kind of thing, which I'll explain in a minute. We'll just go all out and we'll go, fucking now we've had enough, that's it, and then full on attack back. Do you think that makes it right? Attack back and then wipe them out, eliminate them, and then find out when you've done that you still haven't fixed the problem or got the person that you wanted to get. That does not make it right, does it? Right? And that's, what do you call God lessons? Everyone likes to talk about life lessons and giving and countries lessons and this lesson. Everyone wants to play God, as you can say, because they want to give them lessons. They want to show them this is the way you're meant to do it and you'll learn your lesson, right? But we're meant to learn our lesson if you stick to positive things and do things right. And then you could say that later on to people and go, well, if you love him, this would have worked out for you, but you weren't. So that's the point we're trying to show, is that you're not being loving. So do you think Israel saying you need to go over there, you need to go over here to the people that are innocent in that country because a group ran in there, right? And the group took over the country sort of thing, and they were scared, so that country couldn't do anything, just like you weren't doing anything, but now you decided to do something. And instead of going in there and being like a police force and going knocking, you'd rather be the police force that turns up and goes, there's terrorists in there, there's a big group, we don't want to do, let's just bomb them or burn them out. Do you think that's right? Do you think when you act as bad as them, that the terrorist or the bad group could change quicker than you or get allies for them because they can say that you're a liar and that you are just as bad as them? If an enemy can say that you're just as bad as us, then the fight's going to continue, true? But if you have an enemy that keeps going to their other enemies to try to get enemies and say that you're loving and you're fair and brilliant, you think they're going to get so much allies? They probably won't. But if you're just as bad as the enemy, or being badder than the enemy now because the enemy stirred you up, what do you think's going to happen? Right? I've thought about that with the problems I've gone through in my life and the unfairness of man. I feel like that I could retaliate like Israel's retaliated and say a lot of reasons why. I've been talking about what decisions humans could do and why humans do certain decisions. But it doesn't mean that they're right or true. And it doesn't mean there's not another way to try as well. Definitely if you want to look like that you listen to the right guide out there and you have the more right information than anybody else. The best way to prove that is to prove it and not be like your enemy. Because when you be like your enemy could say you're being like us or just as bad as us, and they'll be able to attack you back. So how I see what could happen when it comes to Israel. And Israel now tries, people around the world go, well, because this is what happens with fights around people. So it's the same thing as just group fights and stuff that I've seen, right? And people might go, well, they're allowed to do that. You got to feel sorry for them a little bit. They nearly got wiped out and they don't want to get wiped out again. But does that give them excuse to be what happened to them? right? Back then in that story, they sort of went through their own test. They had to go through that with God because someone got angry and they didn't like that group. This is pretty much what happened with Hitler, and he ordered them out. That far as he's concerned, is that they were all smart asses and thought their way's the best way, and they kept the work to themselves, and they were taking over everything like that, right? And then Hitler goes, "Oh, I want them out. I'm going to give them time to leave," but they wouldn't leave, and a lot of them did leave, and they lived, right? And then a lot of them kept with their stubborn ways, right, and stayed. You know what they should have done? And then Hitler got upset, and he went a little bit too far as well. I'm not saying that Hitler did the right thing either, but he did talk that he wanted them out, and he was angry, and what he was willing to do, and they took the risk, and that's what happened. Right? They could have all left and then come back, but they took the risk, and what happened was not right. But that's what happened. It's life lessons, isn't it? If they left, well, what happened would have never happened. True? But they stood up and they did what they did, and they thought their way was better than the other way, and so on, and didn't want to mingle in, and all sorts of things that happened. But then they wanted to, but then it was too late, and so on like that. Everything has an outcome because of incidents beforehand, most of them, if you look back. Instead of just talking about the one little incident. Yes, they got wiped out, they didn't like them. Yeah, that was true, but there's a lot of stories that led up to that. Right? And so when it comes to Israel now, I believe that Israel is going so far and going so wrong because of their anger issues and been holding back, and then flipping it. It reminds me of a person that's doing that, and they're in their anger, that they're not thinking properly, that action could cause them to lose. And that is by people understanding what's happening to Gaza, which is unfair. He's not taking out the group at all. He's taking out the country, right? And other countries are going to defend that. And now Israel's going to look bad. And now people are going to attack Israel because Israel is being badder than Hamas, or just the same, and using excuses to do that. That's my belief. Let me know in comment what you believe. I was hoping that this would be a God's test for Israel and for Gaza and for all the holy places around there, because they're all trying to figure out which is the best way to do it, which is fair and righteous. Why are we doing these certain actions? That they attack us and they say that, God, we attacked you because there must have been, because God wouldn't allow it. Here, this is how you get holy craziness. And then they'll attack back and go, well, we believe in God too, and we're taking you out, so I guess that was meant to happen. No, both wrong. God's sitting there watching, going, both wrong. What's meant to happen is you're meant to fix yourselves. That's what's meant to happen. And if it goes way, way, way too far, if you ever hear about the stories of God, when it's right at the end, we get punished. Either he helps us or he finishes us and goes, look, he's all about his child, we need a reset. Right? And we've had that. Why do we get that? And we even got resets when people were doing the good thing and too many were bad, so everyone copped it. But some get to live. It's always some get to live. That's how the story keeps on going. Maybe the best get kept. Right? But just think about it, holy people out there who believe in another spirit, another land, a higher being that watches us all. See how we go. Who do you believe out there is the holiest country where some religion has it more right than the other? And then debate that. Always debate why. And if they love it, then be it. Doesn't mean someone else has to be it. That means their holiness can still be holy. If they love it and be holy, be holy. As long as you're not hurting others to do your holy stuff. True? Because if you're hurting others, then others are allowed to get involved to your holiness. Because you're hurting others, so they have to get involved. True? Anyway, hopefully this holy war doesn't go too far and people start to think and get their shit together. Maybe all these countries will finally, who have all these different religions, will finally come up with a rule that I've talked about, which is the get-together rules that they all get along with, like in war, and stick to it. And if anyone wants to break these rules that they come up with so we can all get along and people don't go too far, then they're going to become the target. That's how we have peace. Do you see that happening now against Israel? Because Israel will not stop and will not change their mind and do things more right that people are mentioning. And they think they can just keep on going and kill innocent civilians. Don't you think killing civilians gives you very bad points when it comes to the ethers. Remember how I've talked about points? And then the leader would be getting the worst points because he's the ultimate chooser, right? So I wouldn't want to be these leaders of these countries if they are holy. Anyway, have a good one. And that's my opinion. Let me know in comments, please. I'm not here to attack any religion. I'm here to try to make sense of actions that they're doing and why they do it and what forgiveness and healing is all about, right? And it's easier for the next generation. It is easier for the generation that hasn't been through it. But it takes the generation that's been through it to show the way for real and make it fair. And we can all make things fair. You know how I see things coming out there on this? If they finally realise a country's doing the wrong thing, the country steps up and takes the leader out and goes, look, that's wrong, like Gaza tried to do about Hamas, right? Before Israel come flying in and all the rest of it. Is they need to practice what they preach. Have a good one. I'm not going to talk anymore. I can go on for it. I was about to do it. So I'm just going to go, they need to practice what they preach and show the way. Who can show the way the best without using so much violence? And I'll get back to what I was about to say about Israel. How I see it, the only way Israel's going to get out of it is they see that they've done wrong and they have to go in there and fix. When you know you've done wrong, what happens there? That means you have to fix the problem. Or the worst outcome is you can go, okay, I did wrong, I'm going to let it go and walk away. But people won't really like you as much than if you can actually come in and fix the problems you've done and not just stop. So you can go further. So you can just walk away, that's a good thing, and then keep on going. But you can also fix the problem, then walk away, or fix the problem and then try to connect in the future. And if you're the bad guy, you got to expect, or the bad country, that it might take a while to heal. And it's possible, because just look at Germany. Everybody hated Germany. We wanted to wipe them out. Same with Japan. But look what happened over time of showing that they're going to do the right thing and forgiveness comes. Anyway, bye-bye everybody and see ya.